A sanity test or sanity check is a basic test to quickly evaluate whether a claim or the result of a calculation can possibly be true. It is a simple check to see if the produced material is rational. The point of a sanity test is to rule out certain classes of obviously false results, not to catch every possible error. A rule of thumb may be checked to perform the test. The advantage of a sanity test, over performing a complete or rigorous test, is speed. In arithmetic, for example, when multiplying by 9, using the divisibility rule for 9 to verify that the sum of digits of the result is divisible by 9 as a sanity test, it will not catch every multiplication error, however it's a quick and simple method to discover many possible errors. In computer science, a sanity test is a very brief run-through of the functionality of a computer program, system, calculation, or other analysis, to assure that part of the system or methodology works roughly as expected. This is often prior to a more exhaustive round of testing. Mathematical. A sanity test can refer to various orders of magnitude and other simple rule-of-thumb devices applied to cross-check mathematical calculations. For example, if one were to attempt to square 738 and calculated 53,874, a quick sanity check could show that this result cannot be true. Consider that 700 less than 738, yet 700 areas squared equals 7 areas squared A. 100 areas squared equals 490,000 greater than 53,874. Since squaring positive integers preserves their inequality, the result cannot be true, and so the calculated result is incorrect. The correct answer, 738 areas squared equals 544,644, is more than 10 times higher than 53,874, and so the result had been off by an order of magnitude. In multiplication, 918 155 is not 142,135 since 918 is divisible by 3 but 142,135 is not. Also, the product must end in the same digit as the product of n digits 8a, 5 equals 40, but 142,135 does not end in 0 like 40, while the correct answer does. 918a, 155 equals 142,290. An even quicker check is that the product of even and odd numbers is even, whereas 142,135 is odd. The power output of a car cannot be 700 kilojoules, since that is a measure of energy, not power. This is a basic application of dimensional analysis. Software development. In software development, the sanity test determines whether it is possible and reasonable to proceed with further testing. Software sanity tests are synonymous with smoke tests. A sanity or smoke test determines whether it is possible and reasonable to continue testing. It exercises the smallest subset of application functions needed to determine whether the systems are accessible and the application logic is responsive. If the sanity test fails, it is not reasonable to attempt more rigorous testing. Sanity tests are ways to avoid wasting time and effort by quickly determining whether an application is too flawed to merit any rigorous testing. Many companies run sanity tests on an automated build as part of their software development life cycle. Sanity testing may be a tool used while manually debugging software. An overall piece of software likely involves multiple subsystems between the input and the output. When the overall system is not working as expected, a sanity test can be used to make the decision on what to test next. If one subsystem is not giving the expected result, the other subsystems can be eliminated from further investigation until the problem with this one is solved. The Hello World program is often used as a sanity test for a development environment. If Hello World fails to compile or execute, the supporting environment likely has a configuration problem. If it works, the problem being diagnosed likely lies in the real application being diagnosed. Another, possibly more common usage of sanity test is to denote checks which are performed within program code, usually on arguments to functions or returns therefrom, to see if the answers can be assumed to be correct. The more complicated the routine, the more important that its response be checked. The trivial case is checking to see that a file opened, written to, or closed, did not fail on these activities which is a sanity check often ignored by programmers. But more complex items can also be sanity checked for various reasons. Examples of this include bank account management systems which check that withdrawals are sane in not requesting more than the account contains, and that deposits or purchases are sane in fitting in with patterns established by historical data. Large deposits may be more closely scrutinized for accuracy. Large purchase transactions may be double-checked with a cardholder for validity against fraud. ATM withdrawals in foreign locations never before visited by the cardholder might be cleared up with him, etc. These are runtime sanity checks, as opposed to the development sanity checks mentioned above. See also: proof of concept, back-of-the-envelope calculation, software testing, mental calculation, order of magnitude, Fermi problem, checksum, references.